And I think we are live.
Are you sure?
Yep. It's
Pinky
green.
promise?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it's green.
All right, let's go. Welcome to Welcome to episode 116. This episode of 2OC we talk about Jump into Jumanji, more The Batman the News, and Anton bought something. I'm Al Flores.
And I'm Anton Duong.
All right, Anton, what did you buy?
um, I, uh, I mean, just to make it sound like it's not like an intentional type of buy.
Mm-hmm.
I had a gift card. Well, not gift card, but Apple Cash.
Okay, yeah.
That I used to buy the laptop with. So I used that to buy the new AirPods Pro.
So it's almost
And
like Apple gave them to you.
yeah, in a way. I mean, it's pretty expensive set of headphones, but um,
Did you
I,
get the Did you get the wireless one, the wireless charging ones, or the normal ones?
they only come wireless.
Really? I thought there was two different kinds. Okay.
That's if you buy the regular AirPods.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, these are the Pro ones. Have you seen the Pro ones?
Yeah, we posted about it on our social media. They kind of look like Bellsprout.
Yeah, they kind of do. They have
Yeah.
that little oval
Like
look.
lip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, it definitely looks like it can be part of the Plants vs. Zombies game there.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do a quick little review about it. So I really like this product. It's kind of different because the only time that I actually use noise canceling headphones is actually the big ones like these. I've never really had a product that is that small that does that same exact thing.
Hmm.
And usually, like you need some type of microphone that picks up all the noise on the outside and it cancels out the noises that are coming from the outside.
Hmm.
But the very interesting thing that they added into this set of headphones, well, I'm gonna call it earphones or earbuds.
There you go.
That makes more sense. Yeah. So the thing about these earbuds is they added transparency mode. So what that means is it uses the microphone to use to infuse ambience noise from outside while you're listening to music. So let's say you're outside, you're going on a run, but you want to make sure that you hear like cars that are passing by. So you would turn
Which
on.
which that is one of the concerns that I heard people talk about when Apple announced these noise canceling head earpods, AirPods.
Yeah. So transparency mode lets you listen to your surroundings while you're listening to the music. And it's kind of cool because you get the really good sounds of the music and also you get a hint of what's around you. So you can hear like cars passing by, you can hear your footsteps while you're listening to the music. So it's kind of like holding like a speaker next to your ear, but like not all the way in so you can't hear anything else outside, you know? So
Hmm.
that way it's more surrounded by what's around you.
But
Um,
you need to toggle that on and off, or is it always on?
there's three options. So the
Okay.
first option is transparency mode. That's kind of like the new thing that
Hmm.
Apple kind of introduced to the world. Second thing is just turning it off. So when you turn it off, all you hear is just the music.
Hmm.
You don't hear any noise canceling or anything. It's just like you would use regular headsets or whatever.
Okay. So
Um,
no new feature there,
yeah.
essentially.
So the third one would be the noise canceling. So you can toggle between these three options.
Hmm.
The noise canceling is pretty legit. I mean, it's pretty good. Not Bose good, but it's pretty good. And the
I mean,
reason
for
why,
little pods.
yeah, for a little tiny device, you're getting a lot out of it.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, if I was to compare it to the Bose, of course, the Bose does better noise canceling. But I
Yeah.
mean, for this one, if you turn on the volume of the music a little bit, you won't even hear anything outside. You could be yelling at me, I wouldn't be able to hear you.
And that's where the safety concern comes in.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. The transparency, I think maybe it's one of those things you have to experience. The transparency mode and just turning off the noise canceling
Mm-hmm.
sounds like it'd be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe yeah, like I said, maybe it's one of those things like you just have to listen for yourself to notice the difference or know the
Yeah.
difference.
So overall, I really like it, but I did have encountered a problem with this device. Uh, the biggest problem I have is I can only hear one side now. So I don't know if it's a software issue. From what I'm reading online from the forums and threads, people are experiencing this problem too. It sounds like it's a software issue
Okay.
where on the phone you can see both
Both happening.
headphones,
Hmm.
but it keeps on popping up those exclamation marks saying there's something wrong with it. But I can hear the right side, but I can't hear the left side.
Do you know if it's the same side,
Same.
or is it just one or the other? Like
Uh,
that the people are having trouble. Like is everybody having trouble with, say, the right
yeah.
ear pod,
Everybody's having problems with the left piece.
the left one? Okay, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
something with their manufacturing maybe.
Yeah, it could be something with the manufacturer. There are some people that have already went into the Apple Store to get exchanges. Um, but so far, people are saying that maybe they're gonna fix it on the next update. But it's been like over 4 or 5 days already. I already tried to update my phone to the beta version, which people are
Hmm.
not supposed to have.
Yeah.
Um, and it still didn't solve any problems yet. But hopefully, within the day or two, there's going to be another update. If not, I'm going to have to go to the Apple Store to get a replacement.
Yeah, the latest update to the iPhone,
Hmm.
um, the one prior to the one that happened last week, it seemed to have a lot of problems with Bluetooth, at least for me. And I told you about it or vented to you about it when we were playing Overwatch. Is that when I have like a Bluetooth antenna for my auxiliary on my car,
Yeah.
um, and every now and then the if I was listening to a podcast or listening to music, the it almost started like stuttering, or it sounded like if I was streaming, it sounded like it was lagging.
Yeah, that's kind of
But
weird.
yeah, but everything's like already like it's already downloaded and stuff like that. It's already in the phone.
Hmm.
So I need to pause it and then wait a couple minutes or wait a minute or two and then play it and it'll play again fine. But I also started encountering when I'm talking to my girlfriend on the phone or using my AirPods, she would tell me like I sound choppy.
Hmm.
Same thing, even though they're on right and they're full battery. But after the latest update that just came out, I can't remember off the top of my head. I haven't encountered that problem. So hopefully, they know there's an issue with their audio, and they're addressing them bit by bit.
I think that's a cool thing with the devices these days. Anything could be fixed by just tweaking a little bit of software,
Yeah,
which is
tell
kind
it
of
to Tesla.
crazy to me. Yeah, exactly like Tesla. All
All
right,
right, so
so it's been a while since we recorded. We kind of had, well, I had to take care of my wife for the past 2 weeks. It's
yeah,
been kind of hard on her, and yeah, we've just been kind of busy with our schedule. But
yeah. Finally, our offsetting schedules. It finally happened where we just couldn't find the right amount of time. We had like an hour, but it takes us about 2 hours, 2.5 hours to record.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and start with some week updates besides what we were just talking about right now. Um, yeah, so I've been really responsible, take care of my wife, getting her what she needs. It's kind of harsh on her because she's not able to eat anything.
Hmm.
So I'm just trying, cooking a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm just
Yeah,
letting her nibble on things.
you're troubleshooting. You're seeing what works, what doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like she likes a lot of the carb stuff, like
Who doesn't?
crackers. Yeah, who doesn't? Bread is really easy to eat for her. Pasta is really easy to eat. But I'm trying to understand, like, what type of taste buds is she more into, like the sour taste or sweet taste. She's really into the sweet taste, but I don't want to give her too much sugar,
Yeah.
because it's kind of dangerous to let her have too much sugar because anything can happen. Especially refined sugar is kind of bad for you,
Yeah, and
especially bad for the baby.
also, what's it called? Is it prenatal? I forgot what it was. There's a form of diabetes that can occur during
Yeah,
pregnancy too.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's something to watch out for.
Hmm.
You reminded me something right when we talked about carbs. Me and my girlfriend were watching Mind of a Chef. I was showing her the ramen
Awesome.
episode,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and there's a part where Chef Roy, he was eating where's the Chef Roy?
David Chang.
David Chang. He took a bite of the instant noodles raw,
Yeah,
and he said like, oh, I used to snack on this as a kid and stuff like that. And my girlfriend's like, people do that? I'm like,
I
oh,
do. You do.
I'm like, yeah. I thought that was like a very common thing, but maybe I don't know. But I
Yeah,
told him
I
like, yeah,
think it's because you were exposed to a lot of Asians in the
maybe,
area, and she was she lived in the Anaheim area where there's a lot of Mexicans. So
yeah,
yeah, I think it's where you're exposed to too.
maybe, but
Interesting.
also
Yeah,
laziness or impatience because I didn't want to wait for water to boil.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, the noodles are cooked itself. It's just dehydrated.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
fine. Just drink lots
So
of water afterwards.
yeah, so at work, my cousin who's sitting next to me, he usually goes to the supermarket to buy these instant noodle packs. But
Hmm.
these are like the ones that you snack with. They made a version where it's meant to be snacked on
So they're
dry.
bite size.
No, it's in like the instant noodle bag sizes, but
Hmm.
the thing is that on them it says different flavors. So imagine like Doritos, like you know how they put the seasoning
Yeah,
on the chip already. So
yeah.
on this one, they seasoned the noodles already.
So it's
Yeah,
like they roll the ramen biscuit or whatever in it already, and then just put it in the bag.
yeah. But the thing is that it's still in its same form, like the
Yeah.
whole noodle square. And then
See, to
before
me
you
that's
eat
not
it,
the
you have to
same though.
press it. No, no,
See,
no,
to me
no.
that's no. But I'm saying to me
Okay.
that's not the same though, because I like to. I don't like to use the whole packet, and I think if I bought that, I don't have
Mhm.
control over how much seasoning I put in it.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
so every time he eats it, I always hear like crumpling noise, and he's like, cracking all of the noodles before he opens the packet. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. So I guess the only thing is you don't have to pour all those packets in yourself. It's already made
Yeah,
like
you
that.
just that literally that was a I think we have eaten or no oh my god, I still remember the day that you like I don't know how old were we? We're probably like 10 or 9 or whatever. You came to
Yeah,
my house and you brought the mama instant
noodles.
noodles whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean you open it, you take the little seasoning out, you pour whatever you want in,
Uh-huh.
you crack it and then you just shake the bag.
Yeah,
That
it's
sounded really
crazy
bad.
absurd. Yeah, I can see like if you ask like some of the college kids from China or something, that's
Yeah.
probably what they were eating when they were like going to school.
That was
Yeah,
their bag of chips.
yeah,
All right. That was a good tangent.
yeah. Hey,
Walk
wait,
down
wait,
memory
wait.
lane.
That kind of
But,
reminds me of like when I went to the ice cream trucks, and
uh-huh.
they would have the cheese popcorns. You know what I'm talking about? The cheese popcorns at the ice cream
Yeah,
trucks,
yeah.
and then
Uh-huh.
on the truck they would have that hot sauce, and you don't know how long they just refill that stuff like over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah.
when
They
you
just in
buy the
bottle.
cheese popcorns, you pour some of that in. I think it's kind of like the Valentinos,
Yeah, yeah.
the sauce
It's
picante.
yeah, yeah, like it's not really spicy, it's more vinegary than anything.
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of that. Like when you eat the noodles, I think that's like the Mexican version of eating
That's
something like
true.
this.
That's
Yeah.
true. Then we have chicharrones, which is kind of it's just fried. I think
Pork rinds.
it's supposed to be pork rinds, but I think they make it out of like a flour. There's a version where they make
Oh,
it out of flour. If you go to the
interesting.
swap meet, you'll see
Hmm.
it. It's like it looks like a little wheel or something like that.
Oh yeah, I've
Uh,
seen those. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's that. It's supposed to be pork rind, but they make it out of flour instead. But it's
Hmm.
the same texture, same flavor, just not as salty.
Hmm. Okay, so I got this question because I mean I go to 7-Eleven a lot just to get some snacks and drinks every now and then when I go to the gas
Oh,
station before work.
7-Eleven Now app is my friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They
Okay.
always have deals, dude.
Yeah. So I mean I always punch in the number every time I go in and buy something. I don't know if
Yeah,
that
same,
does anything. I
same.
haven't even looked at the
Oh,
app
I
yet.
have so many points racked up. I haven't used any. I think I can get like 5 pizzas free now.
Oh wow.
Like whole pizzas, not the slices.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I've been going there quite a bit just to get like snacks and stuff cuz they open run right next to my workplace now, so it's
Oh,
kind of convenient.
convenience. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so over the years, water's water, but every time you go to like a store or you stop by somewhere just to get water,
Yeah.
there's so many different brands, especially. But the thing is that I mean, water is water. Doesn't matter what you buy. But is taste really important to you?
Yeah. I'm very picky with my water.
Mm-hmm.
I like a very purified water. Who was it? Not Aquafina. I think maybe it's Aquafina. I'm a big fan of water that is filtered using reverse osmosis because it takes out a large part of the minerals, and then the company adds in minerals how they see fit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really like a lot of minerals in my water because I guess you can't taste it, but I can
Mm-hmm.
feel the dryness that the minerals add to it. And I don't like it.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think a lot of people compare New York water to Aquafina because I
Because
think
so
yeah, it
they
is.
filter a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So Aquafina is good. But I don't really see a whole lot of. Actually, I don't even see Aquafina at my
Oh,
7-Eleven.
I think I lost points.
Oh.
Uh, 27.96. I think I lost points. They probably
Yeah.
expired or something.
Okay. So I see Fiji water a lot. I think that's my favorite water that is like on deal at
Yeah.
7-Eleven. Sometimes they have like a buy two for however much.
Mm.
Um, I don't really like Life water. I think that tastes exactly like Aquafina, but a lower version.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing.
I
And
think
it is
JC
present.
has a share in that one.
But yeah, no, I think Life Water, their main thing seems to be, ooh, look at our bottles. We're so unique.
Yeah.
Like, no,
every
focus on your
every every
water.
single one has a different design.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, focus on your water. Don't focus about your bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that one, honestly, the one I can settle on for the price and for the taste is the Kirkland one.
Kirkland?
Yeah, they do
Wow.
a great job with the water, better than like the Nestle, better than the Arrowhead water that they have. Like this Kirkland, it's cheap and it's clean. It's somewhat sweet to me, some good.
Yeah. I think the bottle they get from the same source as getting like uh, Arrowhead and stuff because the bottle seems to be similar. But I think Kirkland has their own like water plant where they
hmm
do reverse osmosis and all that stuff. Because
I'm I'm willing to bet that Kirkland uses like a Coca-Cola like water treatment facility.
yeah,
They do a great job with it.
yeah. So another water company that I also see at 7-Eleven is uh, oh well, this is kind of like uh I guess this is more of like a no brainer. Smart water.
That's a terrible
Like
pun. Yeah, that
I
was good.
freaking
I like
love
that one.
smart water. It
I
doesn't
love their
matter what I
I love their
choose; it's always
carbonated
good.
water.
Yeah, their
Their
carbonated water
sparkling.
is really good.
Yeah, their
Yeah.
sparkling water because it doesn't leave a carbonated aftertaste.
Hmm.
It's again, it's a clean water. I like
Yeah.
it.
See,
uh,
another water that kind of reminds me of that is kind of a new brand. You're familiar with it because you probably watch a lot of Will Smith videos. Just Water, which is
uh,
produced by his son, Jaden.
let me see. I'm googling.
Okay, so Just Water
Oh,
is
yeah, yeah. I saw it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Jaden partnered up with this forgot his name. He's like an entrepreneur and a philanthropist,
Mm,
and they bought a shed in upstate New York, and it's up towards in the mountains where they have a lot of snow and rain.
mm,
So they have a shed up there that catches all the water,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would use that water to bottle. And over time, they would get the revenue that they have, and they would start building more sheds so then they can capture more water. Um, and the interesting thing is they use that money to also purify water in the state of Michigan, because there's a lot of cities over there right now that doesn't have any water at all. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are dying of thirst, and you can't really shower with the water because it's so bad. When you turn on the faucet, you would see like dirt in the water.
Oh, it's
So
terrible.
yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like a good cause. When you drink this water, it just tastes decent. It's pretty
Mm-hmm.
good. It tastes very purified. And I kind of like how they're kind of incorporating a little bit of splash of fruits in there, just to get more people interested in buying their water.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference between this brand and all of the other brands is they are using those Tetra packs, the card, well, the paper kind, the paper bottles, the one that is
Okay.
usually used for like coconut water,
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
soy. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
they're using that as their own bottle, and they kind of encourage you to reuse that water bottle, and they're trying to let people know that, hey, use this water bottle, reuse it, because we want to make the world a better place.
Which
So
is
it's kind of
very
cool.
different. Which is very different than what other just drink companies in general.
Hmm.
They tend to discourage reusing their bottles because they don't want to be liable for anybody getting sick, because those bottles are meant for one-time use.
Hmm.
So that, improper washing or over time, it's gonna bacteria can grow inside of it.
Yeah, and a lot of these water bottles that are plastic, they're not BPA free.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So side note too, something that you might be happy about. My girlfriend, she was telling me about how good this new carbonated water she was trying was, and she wanted me to try it.
Uh-huh.
Um, I'll give you one guess of what type of water she was drinking. It's a yellow label
Yellow label.
that you told me about.
Is it Waterloo?
No, Topo Chico.
Oh, dude, I love Topo Chico.
She tried it. She was like, "Oh my God, have you heard of this water?" I'm like, "Oh my God, Anton was just telling me about it the other month or the couple months ago."
Yeah, yeah. So did you
Uh,
try it?
no, I haven't tried it. The funny thing is, I'm starting to see it at Target more and more. So I wonder
Yeah,
if it's catching on in the Americas.
I think so. I've been seeing it's at 7-Eleven too.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think the distribution just kind of got more widespread because I usually just see it like in Mexican stores.
Yeah. And I mean, the first time I saw it was at a gas station called Racetrack here in Florida.
Hmm.
And yeah, I didn't really see it in 7-Eleven for a very long time. Every time I stop by Racetrack, that's the only drink I would get, because I know I couldn't get it anywhere during that time. But
Yeah.
yeah, dude, I was at this taco spot the other day called MX Tacos. They do a lot of like traditional style tacos with a lot of moles and stuff.
Hmm.
And they're like, "Would you like your drink with your tacos?" I was like, "What do you guys have?" He's like, "Oh, we have Topo Chico." I was like, "Yep, that's what I'm getting." And they're like, "Which flavor?" I was like, "Flavor? You guys have Topo Chico flavors?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, we have grapefruit, lime," and I was like, "All right, surprise me." And dude,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. But the only thing is, it kind of brings me back to uh Perrier with their flavors. Every time they add in flavors, I
Doesn't
don't know
taste
if
right.
it's a chemical thing or
It tastes artificial.
it tastes artificial.
Yeah.
Sometimes
That's
they
it.
put a little bit too much in there, which is bad. Because I mean the taste is just weird. But here's the problem though. I Like I said, I don't know if it's the chemicals or something that kind of alters the whole carbonation, because when there's flavors that are added in there for Perrier, it doesn't taste carbonated anymore. It tastes flat.
So
So
the
Topo Chico, when they added the flavors, I taste that flatness to it too.
yeah. So I forgot what the word is. But so when a drink is carbonated and you see all the bubbles forming in the glass, and like you might even find a spot where like there's a stream of little tiny bubbles floating to the top.
Yeah.
That's happening because of impurities in the glass and also possibly particles in the in the glass, like dust or something like that. And they're just the gas is just forming there.
Hmm.
So I'm wondering if like the flavor, whatever they add in for the flavor, is introducing impurities, and that's where like the carbonation kind of forms and escapes.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the same thing with LaCroix. When you first open it, you drink like a couple sips, you put it down, and within like a couple minutes, it's flat.
Yeah.
So I think
Uh
that's probably the reason. And there
that's why
has to be something in the flavoring.
I just stick. I just go to regular sparkling water, no
Yeah.
flavors.
Hmm.
All right, Tom. So you mentioned tacos,
Yes.
and I think it was the last episode, 2 episodes ago. I went to Treehouse Tacos in LA, and I might have misspoken. I called it modern Mexican food. Um, I'm gonna say that is better quality Mexican food, like better quality ingredients Mexican
Hmm.
food.
Yeah.
Last weekend, me and my girlfriend we went to a place called Exclusive Taqueria, Moderna. So
Wow, that
exclusive
sounds
modern tacos.
super exclusive.
So it's a really high end Mexican place.
Hmm.
The chef he actually you might I wonder if you know his name or if you googled it. I know he's been in several food competition shows. He used to have a food truck, and then
Sounds
he
like most of them.
well no his name's Chris Zorin with the
Chris
T at the front.
Zorin.
Yeah, the last name Tzorin. Um, so he used to have a food truck, and then he finally opened up a place in Ladero Ranch,
Hmm.
and it's first of all, it's expensive, but it's so good, dude. This is definitely more modern Mexican food. Um, it's good quality ingredients, large portions, but it's he does like modern techniques. So instead of putting avocado or something on the food,
Yeah.
he does like an avocado mousse. So it has
I
the
was
avocado.
thinking about that. I was like, how can he make avocado fancier? It has to be like creamed up somehow.
No, yeah, it's a mousse. So it's
Yeah.
lighter, but it still packs the same flavor as avocado,
Hmm.
not as heavy, and it's dude, the season's amazing. Um, so yeah, did you find them?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm looking at the stuff. It looks pretty legit. It looks like something that you would find at a fine dining restaurant, and it doesn't even look like Mexican food. It looks like something that you probably order at like a French restaurant.
Yeah, it looks like French restaurant Mexican inspired food.
Yeah, it's crazy. Um,
Uh,
so how would you compare the taste to something that you love, which is Taco Bell?
oh God, no, there's no comparison, dude. I
Yeah.
honestly, this is way better. The meat is so tender, it's so flavorful. Um, it sucks
Did
though, because
did he do like the traditional like al pastor and all
hmm
that? Okay.
yeah, he did. They have so many different styles. It's fun. They call it the traditional menu, so it's more
Hmm.
foods that you recognize, and then they do like their specials and they do like their own technique. And the tortillas, again, I always judge a place based on the tortillas. The tortillas are definitely handmade. You can kind of tell because they have a little bit of thickness to them.
Yeah.
Definitely not machine made. So it's funny. I got uh their tacos, which is kind of like the standard 5 inch, 6 inch tortilla, corn
Hmm.
tortilla. And then also got a street taco, which is like the little 4 inch, 3 inch tortilla size.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was enough food to fill me up. Like and the food is the tortilla is just a plate. It's very hard for you to fold up the tortilla and eat it. So me and my girlfriend were actually like, eating tacos with a knife and fork.
That's kind of different for eating Mexican food. Is you're supposed to use your hands a lot more because of all the foods are more like handheld.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So this is yeah, definitely a different experience when eating it.
Hmm.
But again, it's not going to be a cheap date. So I think for the two, street taco sized tacos and the two larger sized tacos, it came out to like and two drinks, the Jamaica,
Hmm.
came out to like 30 bucks. $35.
That sounds about right for Orlando eating Mexican food.
What I'm saying though, for Mexican food, like all
Yeah.
that food would have really cost you like half the price.
Yeah. And the
I
thing here is when I pay $30 for Mexican food, I'm still not full.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, but it's great food, dude. I mean, again, it's expensive for Mexican food, but it's still food that I think a lot of people should try.
Hmm.
Um, I want to go back. Like again, it's nothing I can eat every week, but definitely
Hmm.
something I want to go back to at least like once every month or two.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. As long as
So,
you're not eating sushi like me, you'll be fine.
oh, dude.
Yeah.
I lost my notes here for a second. So something else I did while we were off. I tell you? I don't think I told you.
Hmm.
Um, I went to my first open house. For houses.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it was cool because I wanted to get because I didn't like the location, but I still wanted to start seeing like what the square footage meant.
Hmm.
Because I've been doing a lot of research online, the Zillow, um, what's it called Redfin, and all that stuff like that. Like kind of searching to see what the listings are. And I mean, I see the square footage for the sizes. I'm like, cool. But what does that really look like? What does 1,000 square feet really look like? So I decided to, like, you know what? I told my girlfriend, like, I'm gonna go Saturday. Do you want to come with me? And she goes, yeah. So we went. Um, I love the place. It's just, again, it's a nice gated community. It's just the area sucked. It was right behind the Santa Ana Zoo. So it's like terrible parking,
Mm-mm-mm.
especially on the weekends, because people will
Hmm.
park for blocks away from the zoo to avoid parking at the zoo.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, So like that was one thing that was annoying me. And then like I like the place, and I really I wanted to also kind of start dipping my toes into finding a realtor.
Hmm.
So I was talking to a realtor, and this woman just annoyed the crap out of me. And she kept like using like the salesman techniques,
Yeah. Like,
and
what's holding you back?
no, not
Those type of
even
things.
that.
No.
Just more like, oh, like if I do this for you, would this be a value to you? I mean, would that be hard? I mean, that would make sense, right? Like pretty much phrasing things in a way that makes you feel stupid for turning her down.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like you're in a timeshare.
I've never experienced it, but
Uh-huh.
I'm sure they probably use the exact same damn techniques.
Exact same thing. They're like, oh, can you taste that pizza that you can come here every single summer and you can have that nice pizza by the pool. You can have nice lemonade and it's all free. Doesn't that
Um,
sound good? It's like, I don't. I can get pizza like down the street for like five
no,
bucks.
but
Yeah.
it's funny because when I went,
Hmm.
I swear she had like several mood swings. She went from kind of like feeling us out
Hmm.
to like when I told them like, oh, like I'm not gonna put an offer down, to she's thinking I'm just a looky loo. Like I'm like I'm not really intending to buy anything or whatever.
Hmm.
And then she's like, oh, okay, well, I can help plan out your financial uh uh like planning or like your strategy or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm good there. And
Hmm.
that's what she kind of realized. Oh, he's like, oh, you have the down payment. Like, I have the down payment. I just not gonna put an offer down in this place.
Hmm.
And she's like, oh, okay. And it's there was one question she asked me. It was so stupid. Um, as she's doing her sales pitch, like the or just like sales spiel, she she's trying to like again throw out these value statements,
Hmm.
and she was saying like, I know you're probably doing all the legwork yourself right now, but who has time for that? I'm sure you have a job. And I just turned to my girlfriend like, I'm trying to buy a house. What kind of person tries to buy a house without a job? Like that's the stupidest like question ever. Like, don't you
Hmm.
have it? Like, I don't know. So yeah, dude, I walked away from it so annoyed, and like I told my girlfriend like, yeah, they're salespeople. I knew it, but I didn't prepare myself for it.
Hmm.
So I walked away annoyed, and like I was like, the funny thing is, I'm like, if this realtor was like willing to talk to me like a regular person, didn't try to like pitch me like an idiot, I probably would have been like, cool, I want to work with you. But no,
Hmm.
she ruined it by just throwing her spiel out there.
Yeah. So I have this realtor friend in California that signed me up for the MLS system.
Hmm.
So I always get alerts on different houses, kind of like on the Zillow app. But the
Yeah.
only thing is, this one's has a lot of the stuff that's listed before Zillow does.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give you access to it after
Sweet.
this recording, so then you can take a look in it. Yeah, and if you're interested in working with him, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really up to you.
Cool.
Hmm.
I will say my
Plug.
my you didn't say your cousin's name or your friend's
No.
name. um my friend, she has an uncle that's also does real estate,
Hmm.
and he's trying to be like a uncle, like to like get her involved into the real estate market. Like, I want you to buy a home. Like, if not for you, then at
It's
least
tough right now, dude.
it is.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like she's sending me this stuff. She's like, "Oh, he just sent me this listing," and I'm all like, "You can't afford that." And she goes, "Why? My uncle sent it to me. I don't think he would have sent it to me if he didn't think I could afford it." I'm like, "That's a $700 house. Do you know what the down payment is for that?" And she goes, "What?" I'm like, 20% of that.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, do you have that much money? And she goes, "Ah, crap, no." And I'm like, and I did like a quick like, and I'm assuming the mortgage is going to be this much. She's like, "Uh-huh, that doesn't sound too bad." Yeah, now add about 300 because of HOA per month.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Holy crap, that's like $800 more than my rental than my rent every month now, and I'm only paying half of that rent." So I'm more like,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm more like that the houses are a bit more tricky. You can't just
it's
you
true.
can't just look for the house. You need to look within your budget too.
Hmm. All right, dude. We've been running a little bit long on catching up on week updates. Let's go ahead and get into news.
Yeah. All right. First story here, the Batman. Last week we announced, well, not last week, but last episode we announced that oh my God, what I was going to say is Seth Rogen,
Jonah Hill.
Jonah, we made the Seth Rogen joke. Jonah Hill was walked away from the table from the offer of being a Batman villain, but now there's new rumors about a new villain.
Yeah, and that's the Penguin, and it looks like Colin Farrell is going to be playing the Penguin, or
That's
as
gonna be interesting.
Benedict Cumberbatch would say, Penguin.
Penguin.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice.
Hmm.
Definitely gonna be. I
You know what? His face kind of looks like a penguin. I
don't
don't
know.
know. Just saying.
But I will say, Colin Farrell is one of those actors that he can almost like any circus. You can kind of lose him in a film if you're really looking out for him.
Yeah.
Uh, I just hope it's not his Bullseye character from Daredevil. Yeah, Bullseye.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I more than anything, I want to see the style that this movie's going to be in, because
Hmm.
a lot of the concept art that I've been seeing from just fans, not even like from studios, is that they're making it look more like the was it Michael Keaton Batman,
Mm-hmm.
like the Tim Burton Batman style, kind of like very
Hmm.
like other world,
Yeah.
another time, another place.
Hmm.
So we'll see how this turns out.
All right. So next thing that we have here is Disney Pixar just released a new teaser trailer of a jazzy type of uh, animated film, and it's called Soul. We
Hmm.
saw a couple of pictures in the past from D23, but we're actually getting a better look now of the character and the music that's in this movie. Um, and you kind of get the feel of what it's like. And I kind of see that they're kind of fusing the world of like Inside Out with a little bit of Ratatouille in this trailer. And you know what? I'm really digging the music that they have in this trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of has to. It's definitely musically focused movie.
Hmm.
Um, One thing I did make a note of, because my friend sent me the trailer when the Disney Plus Instagram
Hmm.
posted it.
Yeah.
It unless they try to integrate this into that world of Inside Out, Ratatouille, like make all these fan rumors that the worlds are all connected. Unless they actually like make it part of the canon,
Hmm.
it almost feels like they're ripping themselves off. Like they even made the comparison in the trailer that it's Inside Out. Like they showed the Inside Out characters, and then in the trailer they show the guy turning like shrinking down into like an emotion or something. I don't know what that is.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I don't know. I mean Pixar. I can't think of a time that they've let me down.
Hmm.
So I'm sure it's gonna be amazing. I think like Inside Out was one of those movies I was hesitant about, but I
Hmm.
still enjoyed.
Yeah. All right. So, kind of excited to see that.
Hmm.
So the online, the online boyfriend, the internet's boyfriend, is finally out in public with a girlfriend, and it looks like he is dating this woman named Alexandra Grant, and she is an artist, and it seems like she kind of opened him up over the years. They've been friends since 2011. What? What's so funny?
It just sounds bad. She opened him up.
Oh, well,
um.
that's what they've been saying on the internet is that she kind of saved his life because we talked about the death of his ex girlfriend
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
his baby supposed to be. Yeah, so it's kind of nice to see him with somebody. I mean, it seems like he's really happy. I mean, not she's not too good looking, or she's not bad. She looks like she's perfect for him.
I will say, Keanu kind of for a short time, way shorter than the person I'm about to name. Um, he kind of took the place of George Clooney as like America's Bachelor.
Hmm.
Like George Clooney held that title for so long, and then he got married. He kind of everybody forgot about him.
Yeah.
They even forgot about Tequila. Uh, and then Keanu kind of made that resurgence, and it seemed like he got that focus, and then all of a sudden, now this.
Yeah. Hey, but
Uh,
everybody's happy for him, man. That's a good thing.
I mean, you can be happy for him, but doesn't mean it's no. All
All
right.
right. So, did you get this email or did you see this online? What's the news about this new VR experience?
I was surprised by this. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what it was until you sent it to me in their notes.
Mm-hmm.
The only VR thing that I've noticed recently is the Avengers.
Okay.
Um,
So Jumanji, the studio behind Jumanji, has been working with The Void to do a Jumanji VR experience, and this is really cool, dude. I'm kind of excited for it. I don't know Oh yeah, it does have a date. I think it's the end of this month because they're trying to promote the movie as well as this experience.
mhm.
So it kind of makes sense because the movie itself has a couple of characters, probably four, um, and in this experience, you get to have that type of adventure with your friends. So you get to
Mhm.
go into Jumanji.
It's the movie. You
Hmm.
are in the movie.
Yeah. So I think that's a perfect VR experience, and I don't think the Void would disappoint at all.
Hmm.
Yeah. So kind of excited for that.
All right. Uh, Sorry, I lost my notes. And while I load this up, I was pulling up Box Office Mojo.
Hmm.
I don't know if they've been owned by IMDb, but now they're part of IMDb Pro.
Oh yeah, there was a whole internet um like upset that happened on Reddit. I didn't really read a whole bunch of information about it, but people were not happy.
Yeah, I mean, I need to get used to the new layout. It really looks like Box Office Mojo done by IM in the IMDb style. Um, Okay, yeah, we'll talk. I'll look more into that later. That might affect our summer movie draft.
Yeah.
Uh, Moving on to another story here. Game of Thrones last HBO. There was, I mean, this is fairly old news now, but still want to cover it. After Game of Thrones ended, there was a lot of excitement that when HBO announced that there was going to be a prequel.
Hmm.
What that prequel was, we didn't get a lot of details. All we knew was Naomi Watts was going to be starring in it. And
Okay.
then the past week, HBO announced that's canceled. Even the cast was kind of notified last minute saying any work that they've done so far, scrap it. We're done. No more prequel.
Yeah. So from what I heard is George R. R. Martin is supposed to be the screenwriter for it, but he told everybody that he's not gonna start writing that unless he finishes all his books, because he wants to promise that to his fans before he moves on to a different project. Because if he works on a different project, he's never gonna finish this book.
Excuses.
Yeah.
So the following day,
Hmm.
as HBO slapped their fans, then they gave him a little kiss on the cheek saying, "We're also we've just greenlit a new prequel starring the Targaryens."
Mm. Okay.
So I really think that this is HBO. I mean, George R. R. Martin aside, I really think this is more HBO saying the fans love the Targaryens, the fans love the dragons. Us focusing on that family gives us an excuse to bring in dragons.
Yeah. So maybe talking about like the Mad King and that maybe a little bit of that storyline.
Yeah,
Um,
or the family, I'm blanking on the names now, but that family's ascension to be the ruling family, the Targaryens.
yeah. So this is some of the latest news too. Is uh, the head writers of Game of Thrones, which is DB Wise and I forgot the other guy's name, but they were supposed to do the new Star Wars movies, but it seems like they dropped
Oh
out because of their busy schedules. I'm guessing it's probably because of this.
no, no, kind of.
Okay.
I think it was New York Comic Con, something like that. They were on a panel and they were asked about Game of Thrones, and they essentially said after they used up this, because the first season or two they were using George's his books, his books as canon to inspire the stories and what to write. Afterwards, is they kind of had to start making up their own storylines. Like
Mm-hmm.
they had to understand the world and start making it up. And they said all that is fantasy shit. What's Star Wars? It's
Fantasy.
space fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So within a week, we get an announcement that they are walking away. There's a lot of people speculating that it's maybe Kathleen Kennedy's her mercy to, like, hey, I'm gonna give you guys an option here to walk away instead of being fired.
Yeah, I don't know. I read about that too. It's kind of hard because I mean, it kind of makes sense with both sides. How they're leaving. I personally think they're too busy because they're signing on so many projects at the same time,
Well, they
and
have a deal with Netflix, right?
they have, yeah, they have a deal with Netflix too. To work on something, and I don't think they're going to be able to finish anything at all. I mean, if they're just head writers and having other people write for them, that's fine. But I don't think they have any time to do like 10 projects at the same time.
They also don't have a lot of bridges left to burn.
No.
They burned HBO, they burned
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, they did.
Um, yeah, they have what? Warner Brothers, Sony. They're good.
Hmm. Hmm.
They have options.
Yeah.
Netflix. Okay.
Hmm.
One last bit of news here before we go into our next segment. We also got a nice little bit of news. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 coming at us in April of 2022.
Hmm.
I'm excited, and it's something that, like, they kind of hinted at the end of the first one. So we're kind of, this. I think this is gonna be a way for Sony and Marvel to kind of showcase the Spider-Man world. Like, I mean, we got a little taste of it
Hmm.
with the different Spider-Man versions, but now we get to explore more versions,
Hmm.
and also probably motivate the Marvel writers or creators to make like one-off Spider-Man spin-offs.
Hmm.
Uh, One rumor, and I don't know if I didn't know this is a thing. Maybe you did.
Okay.
Is that the sequel will include Japan Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Were
Oh
you
my
aware
god.
of it?
Yeah, I was aware of it. I mean,
Um,
okay, Spider-Man in Japan is a big deal. They had their own rights to a TV show, a live action TV show. I don't know if you
yes.
ever seen it.
No,
It's freaking awesome.
that was part of my research that I was doing prior
Uh-huh.
to recording.
Did
I
you
was
see the
looking up.
or like the intro to the Spider-Man
No,
shows?
I saw I
It's like
googled
Power
pictures.
Rangers, dude.
Well, it's what the predecessor to Ultraman. Was it Ultraman?
Yeah, 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 yeah. And
Uh,
it's funny because they have giant robots for him to morph into.
Super Sentai series franchise.
Yeah.
It's a
Uh-huh.
predecessor to it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, but I was looking at pictures. First of all, if this is American created, if it was, it would have been super racist because they made it's like a cheap Spider-Man costume, but with the eye slanted.
Hey, this is in the 80s, dude. This is an old
Uh,
series.
okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever read the background for this?
No, I just watched the trailers and clips
Okay.
of the show.
This is a spider. This is a Spider-Man. This is Japanese as it gets. Every
Okay.
sentence I was reading about this, I was like, this is so Japan. All
Uh-huh.
right. Young motorcycle racer Yamashiro sees a UFO falling to Earth. In fact, a space warship named the Marveler. Takaya's father, Dr. Hiroshi Yamashiro. Damn, that's a Japanese name. A space archaeologist investigates the case, but killed upon finding the spaceship. The incident also attracts the attention of Professor Monster and his evil Iron Cross army, an alien group that plans to rule the universe.
Hmm.
Takuya follows his father to the Marveler and discovers Garia, the last surviving warrior of Planet Spider, a world that was destroyed by Professor Monster and the Iron Cross army. Garia explains that he is hunting Professor Monster and now needs someone to carry on the fight, and he injects Takuya with some of his own blood. The blood of a person from the planet Spider gives Takuya spider-like powers. Garia then gives Takuya a bracelet that can activate his spider protector costume, shoot web lines, and controls the Marveler ship, which can also transform into a giant battle robot called Leopardo. Leopardon? Using his powers, Takoya fights Professor Monster's army and other threats to Earth under the name Spider-Man. What the hell, Japan?
Hey, surprisingly, it's actually pretty entertaining to watch, and I'll tell you why. Um, Ready Player One references Spider-Man so much in his book. And I
Oh,
mean, I
you're
was
right. I forgot
aware
about
of this before that,
that.
and when I was reading Ready Player One, whenever he references Spider-Man, Japanese Spider-Man, he always put Spider-Man.
This is
And
really cool.
yeah, when I was reading, I was like, Spider-Man? That sounds like Spider-Man. And then he starts talking about Peter Parker, like a Japanese Peter Parker. I was like, oh. And then all of the memories from watching all those YouTube clips of the Japanese show like started rushing in. I'm like, oh. And it's crazy because like it gotten a lot of influence in a lot of the versions that we have over here too, because it was it's kind of like the Japanese version of Smallville.
Hmm.
That's how popular this series was.
And it went 2 years.
Hmm.
It went from May of 1978 to March of 19. Well, I guess a full year of 1979. for 41 episodes.
Yeah, I think Japan really got their worth for getting the rights to making a TV series.
Oh, that was a hell of a year, dude.
Hmm.
Imagine that. Pretty much every other week or every week you got an episode of Japan Spider-Man
Hmm.
fighting Professor Monster.
Hmm.
Ah, dude, I gotta watch some videos after this.
Yeah.
Um, all right, it's on. Speaking of shows, you ready to go into our next segment?
Yeah, let's get into streaming.
All right, Anton. So I mean, first up, I think we talked about this, or you mentioned last episode, but
Y-
we have Jack Ryan season 2 now on
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah, and I binge watched the whole thing in one day.
Damn.
Uh-huh. 8 episodes. And dude, it's so good. It is so good. Um I mean I wanted to stop so I can, do other things, but Julie just couldn't stop. I mean, we had to go to the groceries, and I turned the TV off. She's like, "No, what are you doing?" I'm like, "We're gonna go grocery, come back, and then you can finish the rest of it." She's like, "All right, fine." Yeah,
That's
but
his
dude, it's
because
so good.
I give you guys props for binging it that much
Hmm.
because the first season it was intense, dude. Like I had to walk away after like a couple episodes. I'm like, I need to
Yeah,
breathe.
this season's pretty
Like
intense too. Yeah.
you have a lot of what the hell just happened moments or what the hell.
Hmm.
Um
So this season it takes place in Venezuela.
uh
I mean, at the very beginning, it takes place in Moscow because that's where the previous season ended. But yeah, it mostly takes place in Venezuela, and it's kind of interesting that they are implementing this type of storyline to the series because there's a lot of stuff that has been happening in Venezuela for the past couple of years. We've
mhm,
been getting a lot of people that were seeking asylum from Venezuela in
mhm.
Florida. Everywhere I go, I always see a bunch of new Venezuelans looking for jobs. They're everywhere. It's kind of like a new place. I mean, I thought Puerto Ricans were everywhere here, but Venezuelans kind of took over. Yeah.
Uh Sorry, I just got sidetracked. So a little bit of news here that just kind of popped on my phone.
Hmm.
China has a new gaming regulation. Anyone under 18 is banned from playing between 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. more than 90 minutes a day on weekdays and more than 3 hours a day on weekends. Minors will be required to use real names to identify and identification numbers when they're playing to monitor them. So they have a curfew for gamers.
That's interesting. I guess it's a big problem because a lot of parents haven't been enforcing it, and the system with education over there hasn't been the greatest because of
Oh,
all of this.
so
Kids would spend all night playing video games, and I think it's a addictive issue right
this
now in
is their
China.
this is pretty much the state saying, all right, the parents aren't doing what we want them to do. We have to step in and monitor their kids for them.
Yeah,
Damn.
and plus, I think China is trying to do something where, um, I think they're trying to get a piece of pie of the gaming industry because it's so big. Everyone's playing video games over there now.
I
So
I
yeah,
have a sneaking suspicion it has something to do with more with monitoring group group chats
yeah,
in
I
game.
think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, especially with the identification. All right,
Hmm.
sorry, Anton. Sorry, didn't mean to derail. Uh, the other show we have on our notes here is Queer Eye Japan. That's the latest incarnation of the Queer Eye series that came to Netflix.
Yeah, so it's so cool that they're going out beyond their comfort zone and going to a different country that they're not so familiar with. And I mean, I've never really watched the Queer Eye series, and I always know that a lot of people love the series because it's not so much about making you feel uncomfortable because a lot of people are kind of new to this whole thing where um, a lot of people are still not accepting. So for me, watching it, I mean, I have nothing against it, but I mean, hearing people talking about it so much that I was like, I really like the fact that they got out of their own way to make other people's lives better, to
Hmm.
inspire other people to do better things in life.
Yeah.
And I know that was always their intention, but going to a different country and teaching someone who is not formal to the American culture, because Japanese is very strict, like
Yeah.
everybody does things a certain way over there that can be considered as shameful and could be considered as rude. Um,
Don't they have pennies and vending machines?
yeah, but that's the
They
weird
also
thing
have,
about,
they also have their weird exceptions.
yeah. So I think that's where Japan is kind of changing, is because they're I think for the longest time they put so much pride into their country, and
Hmm.
the people they respect themselves more than all the other countries. But it seems like lately Japan has been trying to embrace the American culture, the Chinese culture, the Korean culture, and kind of bringing everything in. So for these guys to come in and changing all of that, dude, it's very inspiring. Because okay, one of the episodes is this guy who has never. I mean, he married this girl. Like
Hmm.
they're friends, and then they're like they like each other. They got married, but they never had sex. They don't even hold hands. They don't get intimate. They don't go on dates.
What's the? That's just weird.
That blows
Are
your
they?
freaking mind.
Have they even met?
Yeah, they
Like
live together.
I feel like this is like something you'd hear, like the government messed up. They put two names uh on a marriage license and by accident, and now DC people are just randomly married. That's a TV show. We're pitching that.
Yeah. So, for these guys to come in and see how crazy that is, and they don't even, I mean, they don't really express on how crazy this issue is. All they want to do is they want to focus on how they can help this guy to become something that is gonna improve his marriage,
Yeah.
because this guy's so like
Intimacy.
reserved. Yeah, like he wants, but he doesn't know how to approach. And there are times where, like, a couple is supposed to talk to each other about problems.
Yeah.
They don't talk about problems. They're so like reserved that they can't talk about like what they like or what they don't like. So I'm really happy that this series is kind of like helping people. And the one thing that I thought about going into watching this show is the language barrier.
Oh.
Yeah,
You don't want
because they're
you don't
mostly
want to.
speaking Japanese.
I was like, what about like what's her name? Marie Kondo? What's it called? Marie
Marie
Kondo.
Kondo. Yeah,
Marie Kondo. Yeah, like that kind of thing. That's one thing I'm blaming about the show.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of like that, but the only thing is they don't have that translator there.
Uh,
She's behind scenes on the headset translating both sides, but you don't see that happening, which is kind of cool. But behind the scenes, they're like, oh, if you're we know that you're watching this show trying to figure out how we can respond so fast. It's because we have this translator over here telling us everything in the ear, and then they show that girl, and it's so cool, dude. Like you could see the girl explaining everything in detail,
yeah.
and the way that they respond everything, it feels like it's second nature. Like you don't see them clashing against each other, not understanding.
Yeah.
Um, mhm,
That's one thing I give so much credit to translators. Like
mhm,
you and I are bilingual,
mhm,
but I would struggle to like translate something that somebody else just said. Either I
mhm.
would struggle with a word, or I'd be like, wait, what else did you say? What was the second part you said?
Yeah. Yeah, so this series is really good, dude. If you
Yeah.
ever have a chance to check it out, it's very inspiring. I really like what the guys do. They really change other people's life. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I never really explored it, but yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, it's on my recommended. Netflix
Hmm.
knows me. Speaking of Netflix, I wanted to go into the streaming services because it was Lights Camera. I think, yeah, Lights Camera Barstool posted a summary of all the current streaming services available and their
Hmm.
price points. So they have Amazon, Apple TV Plus, CBS, Disney Plus, Epix, HBO Max, Hulu, Hulu TV, uh, NBC, Showtime, Sling, Stars, YouTube TV, and YouTube Premium. Um, but I really want to focus on Apple TV because we're running a bit long. Um, there, Hulu has actually been promoting the Apple TV ads or TV shows that have been popping up on my thing, and there are two shows that are really calling out to me.
Hmm.
Uh, for All Mankind, which at first it kind of seems like, oh, it's kind of like the movie The Right Stuff, but in a show form.
Hmm.
But then I actually looked into it, and it's the premise is if the space race never stopped. Instead of America making it to the moon first, the Russians beat us to it. Which, in all honesty, they should have beat us, because they beat us to orbit. They beat us to orbit. They beat us to the first man in space, and then somehow at the end we beat them to the moon.
Hmm.
So the premise shows that they beat us to the moon. To the moon. So we said, "F it, we're gonna go further than that." Which,
Yeah.
you know what? That's America for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you thought the race ended there? No, 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 no. The race is still another 2 miles that way. We're still going.
Yeah.
So I really want to check that one out. And the other show, Dickinson,
Hmm.
starring
Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld. Yeah, which it kind of, again, I'm not much of a fan of period shows,
Hmm.
but this one seems like it's a period show, but with uh modern way of talking, modern styles. Uh,
Modern problems.
not even modern.
Not modern problems, but like the problems that you can relate to.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
It's almost like with those like improv Shakespearean improv troops
Hmm.
that take Shakespearean uh text and then try to like make it into, let's make it into a hip hop style, blah blah blah, like that. It's
Like
Dickinson, but
Hamilton.
yeah, exactly. There you go. Like
Yeah.
Hamilton is
Yeah.
this is Dickinson, the Hamilton version, or
Hmm.
Hamilton, the Dickinson version.
Hmm. Swedish version.
Yeah. What's his name? Is it oh my god, I forgot what the name of the rapper. Um, is it Wiz Khalifa? I think he's in it. But yeah, there's a part that like it seems very surreal,
Hmm.
and so you can tell that a lot sometimes it's fantasy based,
Yeah.
or like her.
Hey, I'm surprised that you didn't say Ghost Rider because you were talking about that last time.
I haven't seen the trailers or
I started watching it.
okay.
It's okay.
Uh,
It's not. I mean, it's good, but you have to embrace the cheesiness of the child actors.
well,
I mean,
because
it's
there's
yeah.
four shows that Apple TV is really pushing.
Hmm.
The morning show, with Jennifer Aniston, C with Jason Momoa, and then Dickinson and For All Mankind.
Hmm. Hmm.
Really, the morning show doesn't appeal to me, and C, it seems kind of dumb to me. It's interesting, but
Yeah, yeah,
kind of dumb. Like there's a lot.
yeah.
It makes me ask a lot of questions.
Well,
Um,
you're watching people who are blind, so.
oh, stupid. Uh, and then Lights Camera Barstool, they gave a rating for these shows. Or
Oh, okay,
they not them rating, but the Rotten Tomatoes scores for each of
okay,
these shows.
okay.
And it made me really happy that the two shows that I wanted to see, both of
Hmm.
them had 88%
Okay, okay.
rating for Rotten Tomatoes. The morning show, 60%. C, 43%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
So I'm really considering Apple TV, dude. It's, I think it was at $5. I just
If you
had it.
bought a new Apple product, you get it for
Oh,
free.
that's
So
right.
your phone, you get it for free. You just download the app. You can start watching it.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
free.
Might do that. All right.
All right, so let's get into the last segment of the show, which is movies.
Yeah. All right. Movies, and that's what I was pulling up earlier.
Mhm.
Where'd my tab go? All right. So as of, make sure I have the date right, November 6th, number one, we have Terminator Dark Fate. Number two, still holding strong with Joker. Number two, Joker is still holding strong. Uh, so out of practice, I forgot to say it. Terminator Dark Fate has a total of 36.2 million. Joker 303.2 million. Number two, Harriet with 50.3 million. Number four, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil with 80.5 million. And number five, Zombieland Double Tap with 61.7. Uh,
Okay.
I hear that you went to go see Terminator. I'm kind of
Okay.
curious because I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you what. A lot of people who have seen the movie before this movie came out have overstated a couple of statements. And one of the big ones that I heard was, "Wow, this movie's so good. It's kind of like a great reboot, just like uh,
Oh, they said reboot.
what's that?
So they're calling it a reboot.
There, some people call it a reboot, but
Okay.
it's not like it's a continuation.
So it's like
But they
Jumanji.
say it's kind of like the Last Jedi. Well, not Last Jedi.
Uh,
Sorry, Force Awakens. They're
no,
like, this is the Force Awakens of Terminator.
no.
Uh, okay, I'll tell you what. The
Well, actually, I do want to point out this is supposed to take place right at, or not right after T2, but it's supposed to go Terminator
it
T2
actually
and
does.
then this one.
It actually does take.
Because it's supposed to erase the most recent movies.
Mhm. Yeah, it
Those
does.
yeah. So this is kind of what movie was it they kind of erased? I'm blanking on it. I'll think of it. Go ahead.
Hmm. Yeah. So I mean, okay, acting is good. I really like the acting. The cast is great. The only thing I didn't really like about this movie is it feels like a forced uh, a forced setup. Like they're trying really hard to make this movie good enough to uh, be a trilogy. The only thing that falls short on this is I think the story. I mean, they needed more depth to this whole thing. Um, yeah, I was expecting a whole lot more. I mean, I really enjoyed it, but I was expecting a lot more from this one.
Yeah.
I would give it a probably a 3.6 out of 5.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nerdist covered this, and they had some suggestions for James Cameron,
Hmm.
to really revitalize the
Well, he
franchise.
didn't really go all in on this one. He brought the franchise back to himself, but he let
Yeah,
someone else take care of it.
which we talked about. That he says
Yeah.
like James Cameron's presents Terminator,
Hmm.
produced Terminator, but directed by somebody else. Um, no, but they pointed out saying like that maybe they need to let Terminator kind of cool down a little bit. Like we've had consistent Terminator movies pretty much once every 3 or 4 years
Hmm.
since the first Terminator. Even the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Hmm.
So that's one thing. So say like people are still kind of. What was the last one with the blanking on the last Terminator movie? Genesis.
The one with the one with the Mother of Dragons.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So a lot of people are saying like this is kind of like people reacting to Solo because of the Last Jedi. Like people are still taking out their frustration from Terminator Genesis on this one. Um, so like another reason like they need to let it kind of simmer a little bit, saying don't push the franchise, let people forget a little bit about the movie, and then only remember the good parts. Like I'll
Hmm.
be back. Come with me if you want to live. And
Yeah,
the other
those
part they suggest,
one-liners.
yeah, exactly. Which like
Yeah.
again, I really could not tell you every little scene from Terminator or T2, but I know the highlights. I know the story. I don't remember the bad scenes.
Hmm.
Um, I remember the terrible Genesis.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
the other thing,
some movies don't
but
need to have sequels.
yeah.
Yeah.
The other suggestion they had was do a series,
Hmm.
but a set amount of series. So the Sarah Connor Chronicles that was a hit, but it kind of fizzled out. So if they can do a mini series of like 8 episodes, do that, or do.
That's the thing that I think BBC does really well is those
Mhm.
miniseries. When it hits, like it hits so well, and it
Yeah,
hits so well that they're
they leave you wanting.
yeah, yep,
Yeah,
hmm,
like oh, come back, I want more.
yeah,
I want more Cumberbatch.
yeah. Hey,
uh,
there's another show that I want to talk to you about, but
uh,
we don't have time for that. We'll talk
yeah,
about it
yeah.
some other time.
And the third suggestion, similar to the second one, was let other writers have fun with it.
Hmm.
Similar to Star Wars. There's so many incarnations of Star Wars, um, live action, animated, different styles of animation.
Hmm.
Um, but all of them are part of the Star Wars mythology. They're
Hmm.
all canon. So like do that. Like there's so like the Terminator franchise can be so much bigger than than the Connors that
Hmm.
we haven't explored it.
No.
And like I want to know how the war. Like I want to know more about the war. I want to know more about like the Terminators, the machines. I want to know more about the survivors, stuff like that. I think Genesis was trying to do that, but really, I did not want humanity to survive.
Yeah.
Screw you, Christian Bale.
Hmm. All right, so enough of Terminator. I already
Yeah,
gave it score 3.6. So I didn't get to see this movie, but you did. How was Zombieland 2? Does it hold up?
dude, this is exactly what I was talking about letting a franchise sit around and
Mm,
let people want more.
yeah.
Um, Zombieland 2 just it hit the right spot, dude. This is exactly what I wanted in a sequel to Zombieland.
Hmm.
The characters still have the same chemistry together. Um, and it's still the franchise. It made me realize the franchise would not be where it is right now without Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
Like he is,
he made that character his own.
yeah, he did, and he plays around
Hmm.
with it. Um, not Luke Wilson. What's his name? Luke Wilson's brother. Oh, no, it is Luke Wilson.
Yeah, Luke Wilson.
I was thinking
Owen
Owen Wilson.
Wilson?
No, no, so
Oh,
Luke.
Owen Wilson's brother, Luke
Yeah, yeah,
Wilson.
yeah. Yeah, Luke
Yeah.
Wilson and oh my God, the guy from Silicon Valley, Thomas
Middle Dutch.
Middle Dutch. Um, they were a great add-on to the as like walk-on roles.
Hmm.
They owned it, dude. And it's funny because they did such a good job of kind of mirroring Jesse Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson's characters, but with their own little like bromance.
Uh-huh.
So it was a great touch. Uh, it's definitely what it reminded me of. It reminded me so much of the movie of the game Left 4 Dead.
Mm-hmm, hmm,
Like
hmm.
like there's zombies
I love
and
that
there's
game too.
and there's
Yeah.
and it introduces you in the beginning. There's different type of zombies.
Hmm.
Um, there's the slow zombie that they call it the Homer,
Boomer.
which is the boomers. Yeah. There's the what was the other one? Oh, the zombie that will uh, kill you, and the only sound you will hear is your own scream. Uh, so like, and so they call it the ninja.
Hmm. The ninja.
Uh, yeah, the ninja. So
Uh,
so like they introduce like these different like categories of zombies. It's hilarious, dude. Um I love that it takes it's the same world that we left, but 10 years later. It's not like we're continuing exactly where we left off. These characters have aged. They've developed their relationships a little bit more. You can tell they've been together for that long.
Mm-hmm.
But also, as the movie goes on, you start to realize, oh, these characters only remember 2009. Like that's the last part they hear. There's a moment where the you saw her in the trailer, the blonde new chick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's talking and she's saying all these dumb things, and they kind of like bait her into like, oh yeah, tell us more. What else did you come up with? And she goes, well, I thought of this fun idea that, if I'm like if I'm drunk and I need to get picked up, usually I call my friends, but sometimes my friends are busy. So I thought that'd be cool if I can just like, have like a service or something like that where I can just call up and somebody will come pick me up and I pay them like a taxi, but they're like my friend. And Emma Stone's character's like, yeah, yeah, that's really what you want to do. You want to call up strangers on your phone and then get in their car while you're drunk. That's really smart. Like like stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Like you can tell, like they would never predict
They're
it.
making future jokes that
Exactly.
isn't
And
even.
their timeline has now separated from ours.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know the world that could have been
Mm-hmm.
if zombies never became a thing.
Yeah, and it's funny. They're coming up with ideas that will make millions.
Yeah, and they're making fun of like that's so stupid.
Yeah. Oh man,
um,
that's funny.
yeah, dude. Honestly, if you love Zombieland, you'll love this.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse Eisenberg has kind of gotten annoying to me, but in this one, um, I liked it. Like he owned his character again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I would give this movie 4.25 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's a solid movie, dude. There were just some annoying parts, but that's mostly the people, not really the
Mm-hmm.
acting or the like. They're meant to be annoying, and they did a great job of it. Um, but other than that, like the comedy keeps going. The the pace is really nice. Um, yeah, just minor defects, but other than that, it's a fun movie. Just go in it. If you like Zombieland, you'll love this one.
Yeah, I think that's the good thing about this movie is it's all about having a good time. It's not really a movie where you're expecting to, you know, have like a award-winning movie. It's just a
But
fun movie to watch.
also very appropriate that there is a Terminator reference in the movie. So I'll let people find out what that Terminator reference is.
Hmm.
Um, I had to explain to my girlfriend how amazing it is that they can make this movie.
Hmm.
Because as we're watching it, she's like, "Oh, that's like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like this is I forgot Emma Stone was in it. Oh, I forgot that what's the girl's name? The little girl that grew up. Oh my god. But yeah, like Jesse Eisenberg and all. Like she's like, oh, I forgot the room. Like yeah, this is why. Like prior to like when the first Zombieland came out, Woody Harrelson was the biggest name and the little girl because people recognize her from other things. Jesse Eisenberg hadn't really blown up at the time. This is
Hmm.
before the network, the social network,
Yeah.
and Emma
Hmm.
Stone was. I think this is shortly after Superbad,
Hmm.
but also like she was still not a major Hollywood thing yet.
Yeah.
So
I still remember because I was working at Blockbuster, dinosaur years.
yeah,
I was working at Blockbuster when that
walking
movie
where?
was when that movie was on the shelf, and I still remember that too.
Yeah,
Yeah. So.
it's I told him like yeah, like shortly after the first one came out, these actors became big names, and it just wasn't possible. And
Yeah.
now because they want to reunite because they went out of their way to make time in their schedule.
Hmm.
Like it's happening. They're doing it for themselves and for fans.
Hmm. So, other than that, I there's a movie that I really want to watch, but it's only at selected theaters at the moment, and it's called Honey Boy. And have you heard about this movie yet? No, right?
I've seen little bits of the trailer.
Okay.
I will say I did not recognize Shia.
Yeah. So, a couple days ago, at the Hollywood Film Awards, Robert Downey Jr. was on stage presenting the award to Shia LaBeouf. And this award was, let me see here, breakthrough screenwriter honor. And throughout his speech, he's basically thanking the police officer that arrested him.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah, because of the incident. I'm not going to explain it. It's a pretty complicated one. Um,
one of the incidents.
yeah. Uh, so he thanked the police officer because of that. He had two choices or three choices. He had to either go to jail for 7 years. Number two, join the Peace Corps and serve his time. Number three, go to rehab.
Hmm.
But once he goes to rehab, he has to choose a program. So he chose to write, and he wrote a script about his life.
Yeah.
And dude, he always tells people that he had a really rough life, and the way that he lived life was not like a normal kid would. So for him to write something like this that is so personal, it's very interesting to see something that is so deep and based on a true story. And people who've already seen this already have said that this is a very, very well written movie. And everybody in it is amazing. And even on Rotten Tomatoes, it's 100%.
Hmm.
So I'm super hyped up to watch this movie because, not only I've talked about this before, I'm a big fan of LaBeouf, and he's kind of a realist compared to a lot of the other actors. And I'm kind of, understanding that he's on his way to redemption,
Yeah.
and it looks that way too.
I mean, I think when we started this podcast, that was right after or early, well, his last major incident. Where
Oh,
I got a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
sound bites.
And you know what's funny? The police officer that arrested him,
Yeah.
he thanked him, and it didn't just end there. They became friends, so they hang out with each other. They go fishing. They do all that stuff.
Hmm.
So it's kind of weird. The guy that arrested you is the guy that's your good
I
friend.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it. Uh, Maybe I don't have it anymore. Oh, wait, here. It's been so long. Nope, not gonna play.
All right.
Um,
Well, while you try to figure that.
there you go.
Oh,
That's what he's trying to
I want to recap this. Robert Downey Jr. said this to Shia before he presented the award. He said that the screenplay for this movie was damn near perfect. Easily the best and bravest film I have ever seen in my years. So that's a lot to say from Robert.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
especially with his history too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and a quick little tangent. Speaking of the Even Stevens,
Yeah.
I just found out that Christy Carlson Romano, who played his sister in the show Even Stevens, is a YouTuber now.
Yeah, she's a YouTuber.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I think.
she found out that her acting career wasn't going anywhere. Even though she tried to get naked a couple times in movies, it didn't really get her anywhere either.
She
So,
tried to do the Anne Hathaway. Got it.
yes.
um, yeah, I saw again. I saw the trailer and I didn't recognize him. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
recognize Shia in it because he looks so different in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. All right, Anton. If people want to,
Get us any of the subscriptions for TV show streamings.
that works. I'm gonna do that.
They can do that by going to our website at www.the2oc.com and maybe buy some stickers, t-shirts, or maybe a hat. And also, if there's any links that we talked about on the show that leads to a page to purchase something on Amazon, it gives us a little kickback. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. You can also follow us on social media at the2OC on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on our whatever podcast app you're listening to us on, especially on Apple Podcasts. Try a little 5-star and a little blurb that helps out a lot. Get us some. Yeah, exactly. If you want to add to our winter movie watching list, you can also email us at email us mail. Been a while.
Info?
Mail at the2oc.com.
Okay.
Sorry. It's been 2 weeks, Anton. It's been too long.
Okay.
I'm a creature of habit.
Yeah. Today's podcast is also brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/the2oc. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from, and you can use it on your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. This week, I've been listening to the fourth book in the Robert Galbraith series, aka J.K. Rowling. Is called Lethal White is the name of this book. It's kind of cool. It's an ongoing series about a detective, and it takes place right after each book. So that's the thing that I like about this series.
Nice. I believe they also have the Star Wars, like some Star Wars one-offs on Audible. Those are always good because they do great production effects in those readings. All right, Anton, I think that is it for our after hiatus recording. Yeah, all right. For the 2OC, I'm Al Flores.
And I'm Anton Duan.
See you guys.
See you.